How's it going, guys? So today, the reason I'm making this video is so that I can draw all of my audience members into the domestic violence that I have done. I'm sorry, I have. But the violence I have done has only been on my schizo frame. The other day I sadly broke it while trying to do a dive maneuver. So I was hoping to release a flight video for this frame this week, but it looks like that's not going to happen. So instead, what I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to show you how to set up a Spektrum DX6 to run quadcopters. Pretty much what it's just going to do is show you how to set up the travel and then how to both designate the arm switch and the auxiliary switch you can use on the controller. So with that, let's get to the demonstration. Alright guys, so this is how to set up a Spektrum DX6. The Spektrum DX7, 8, and 9 models may also have some variants to this setup as well. So the first thing we're going to do is turn the controller on. Once the controller is on, we will see three main things that are important. One, the battery level of the controller, the image that we recept to the object that we're flying, the name of the object, and then a flight timer as well, and then other leading characteristics are our timers. The controller is beeping at me for some reason. Stop volume. So what we want to do to start to set up our model is click this roller, which is going to lead us into another menu, which is our function setup. We're going to scroll all the way to the bottom because we're not going to mess with any of this yet, and go to the system setup, which it says caution, confirm system menu access RF will be disabled. Yes, we're not flying the copter right now, so it is okay to disable the RF. So, well, depending on what you're doing, you can select models. So I only have one model on here right now. So we'll select acro just because it really doesn't matter at this point. If you're doing a new model, select new model. In my case, it just doesn't matter. So we'll go to model type. In this section, most people think it's optimal to select quadcopter. It's actually not. It's better to select acro. It's easier for setup and use later. So select that. The image doesn't really matter. We can change that. So then we would come in here and you could change your model name. I'm going to leave it as is. And then we have F mode setup. We're going to leave that inhabitant. Aircraft type. That's what I was looking for. So aircraft type right here. What we want to do here is we want to come in here and change this to one aileron and one flap. What this does for us is it allows us to set up an auxiliary switch for modes, beeper, anything of the sort where it would take up a secondary auxiliary. I have also heard that there are other ways to do this through the channel assign. This is one way that I know that works to set this up, so that's the way I'm going to keep doing it. If you know of other ways, please let me know. It's nice to know. If not, this is just what I know works. So I said we would leave F mode alone, spoken flight mode alone, channel sign alone, trim alone. Pretty much we don't really need to mess with these. The only one I would change is you go to frame rate. I would change your frame rate to 11 milliseconds. Both the quad racing 4648, if I remember correctly, and their telemetry based version of that receiver both run at 11 milliseconds. 11 milliseconds is faster than 22 milliseconds, so I would definitely, if you are able to do that, keep that. Next is just voice stuff. If you want to play with that, that's what you can play with. I don't play with that too much. And then there are two ways to bind on this controller. You can come into the system setup and bind and click it, or they do offer you, they do offer a bind button on this as well. So either way, if I stop hitting my camera lens there, it's two ways to bind, which is kind of cool. Other than that, there aren't anything really System settings, you can get different information in there, but that's what we're just going to play with in the system setup. So now we're going to go to our servo setup, because what this allows us to do, sorry I'm on a shaky platform, is set up our rates so that they function properly with betaflight or clean flight, race flight as well. It allows us to hit the bottom and top end that their programming's desire. So each one of our 6, so if we just center them, it makes it relatively easy. It'll get us there faster. What we want to do in most cases, I've seen on the Spektrum controllers, is 147, I think, at the most on the top, and then probably 146 on the bottom end of the stick. Gets you right around 1000 and 2000 ppms, if I'm correct. I want to pause that. Alright, so the first thing in the functions list we want to do is go to the servo setup. What we're going to do in here is we're going to change the endpoints at which our sticks actually move. So right now they're somewhere around 1100 and 1800 from top to bottom, or sorry, bottom to top. So what we're going to do is we're going to stretch them out. We're going to take them and we want to put them around 1000 to 2000. So what we'll do is we'll center this stick and then we can select them both. And with the Spektrum controllers, it's about 147 on the top value. Oops. And 146 on the lower value. They get you about 1000. I believe it's 1003 and 2000 or 2000 or 1990, right around there is what they get you. The other specific reason is because betaflight won't arm your quad unless it's under a 1050 range anyways. The only other way to change this is there's a minimum command that you can change from 1050 to 1100, or whatever your controller is at. I don't know. I like making it so I can run every model on here easily with little setup, but so yeah, we'll just keep doing what I'm doing, which we want to take that one to 46, select the next one, just do this for all the channels. Rudder. Alright, so the other thing we want to do is select the travel label, and we actually want to go over to reverse, and we want to reverse our aileron and our rudder. So if I come back over here, right, oops, don't change them, just check them, oops, and this will be bottom and top. Alright, so and again, the way betaflight does it is the left side of the stick is the bottom of the value, and the right side is the top, and then obviously same here, bottom, top. So that's your total bottom. So we go back to list. The only other thing we're going to do is go into flap system, and we're going to set up our auxiliary switch. So depending on what switch you would select, you would put this on whatever switch. So if you want a 3-position switch, Spektrum's 3-position switches are their G switch, their B switch, and then their D switch up top here. So you get 3, and then the rest are all 2 positions. The other thing is your arm switch is default A with Spektrum. It's going to be the switch back here on the bottom left. So I usually like to have mine as H or G depending on the quad and how many channels I want to set up. So I'll do G because this is the one that's got the more setup. H is going to be the same thing, just one less step. So the less step is going to be the first step. On position 0, we want to take and raise this value, lower the value, sorry, to a negative 100. So that gives us a bottom of the switch, or if you want that to be the top of the switch, you would reverse it and make it 100. Leave the middle as 0, and then go to position 2 and take that one up to 100. So that gives you the opposite end. And we would do this on the flap and leave the elevators at 0. And that would make this a fully functioning switch as auxiliary 2. So what we would do in betaflight is set the arm switch to auxiliary 1 and set the modes or beeper or air mode, anti-gravity as switches instead of consistently being on, if that's what we wanted to do. Now, if you want to change your arm switch to a different switch, we would come down here and we would go to channel assign, and we would go to next, and instead of this A switch being inhabited, we could change it to whatever we wanted, B, C, H, if you want it on the other side because you're right-handed. I've learned to keep it on the A switch, but again, you can do whatever customizing you want to it. The other thing that was cool was in this aircraft type, we can go and we can actually change the image. Whoops, go back. Go to next and click on this image. We can put whatever image we want here. So if we want a quadcopter, now there's a quadcopter. We can go back and there's a quadcopter. Everything else is pretty basic. You have your DR and expo, throttle cut, throttle curve, flap system, which we went through, mixing, range test, timer, telemetry. You can do custom voice, setup, and then the monitor. Other than that, it's pretty easy to learn. Once you do it a couple times, it's definitely a great controller. I'm happy with mine. Hasn't broke yet. The gimbals feel nice. Switches are good. I think I have one switch that may be bad, but it's my 8 switch. I think I overused it. But other than that, definitely worth the money. And that's how to set the controller up. So. Alright guys, I hope that was interesting to you and it will be helpful in some way, shape, or form. But the last little thing I want to hit in this video is the giveaway I'll be doing. So first, there's going to be a lot of stuff I'm giving away, a lot of props. Giving away some old motors, giving away some new motors. So there will be 6 people that get to win this giveaway. 6. It's a lot of stuff. So to win this giveaway, it's going to be random. I'm going to do random pickings, and the random pickings are going to be from 1, comments from this video. Comment the video. What I want to hear is 1, current builds you guys are doing, current builds or future builds you think about doing. Do you like flying 5-inch, 6-inch, 4-inch, 3-inch? I want to hear these thoughts. The second thing, go to my Instagram at GA_Pro_FPV. So go check that out. Go check out my Airbuzz at GA_Pro_FPV. Go check that out. These will all give you more possible entries. There's only going to be one. You can only win once. And again, there's going to be lots of stuff to give away. And I look forward to hearing or reading your guys' comments and commenting back. I want to see this. Thanks. And goodbye. Goodbye.